This episode of the Electric Church podcast is brought to you by Chameleon Cafe, located next to Brainerd International Raceway off Highway 371. Chameleon Cafe serves the best breakfast, tacos, and sandwiches in the Brainerd Lakes area. Check out the smoked brisket hash, Yukon Gold potatoes, fried with peppers, onions, and smoked brisket, and topped with 2 over easy eggs. It's a local favorite and just some really great comfort food. You guys are going to love it. Chameleon Cafe also serves all Minnesota brewed beer on tap, as well as wine and sake. We also make great mocktails made with beer and wine, like a classic mimosa or a bloody beer. But we also have original mocktails, like the Japanese cherry blossom and the peachy keen. So come on by Chameleon Cafe, located next to Brainerd International Raceway off Highway 371 in Brainerd, Minnesota. Their winter hours are 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Wednesday through Saturday, and Sundays from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Their winter hours do mean they are closed on Mondays and Tuesdays, but that's still 5 days a week to check out the best breakfast, tacos, and sandwiches in the Lakes area. Make sure you swing by. Thanks to Chameleon Cafe for their support of the Electric Church podcast. Please, listeners, do us a favor and check out Chameleon Cafe and support them for supporting us. All right, on to the episode. It's a weird pause now. Thank you for tuning into the Electric Church podcast. My name is Craig. I'm the founder of the Electric Church podcast, and today I'm joined by Mike. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, Mike?
Hello, my name is Michael. I'm originally here out of Brainerd, Minnesota. I'm a former, U.S. Army, served in 91, Gulf War.
Get that microphone just a little bit closer.
Okay.
All right. All right, and you understand that we're recording this conversation, and you give me permission to release it on YouTube and any other applications I see fit.
Yep, that's fine.
All right, perfect. So, yeah, Mike, we brought you in here today. I used to work with you up at Man Lake years and years ago for a short time. But, yeah, you would regale us once in a while with tales of being in the service and being in Germany and playing semi-pro football.
Yep.
Football, pardon me. And ironically, it's Super Bowl Sunday, actually, when we're recording this.
Yes.
Also Groundhog's Day on this 2012. So, yeah, why don't you go ahead and tell us, how you got into the service and, just kind of go from there.
Well, the service has always been a key focus of mine, even from when I was a little boy. Not because of my family at all, but just because it's something I've always wanted to do. So as soon as I graduated high school, well, actually before I graduated high school, I was already signed up. And then as soon as I graduated, I went to basic, and from there I went over to Germany, and from there they sent me to the Gulf War in 91. And after that, I got stationed back stateside for 2.5 years, and then I got out of the military. I went back to Germany and lived there for 13 years.
So how long were you deployed in Iraq during the first war?
For really quite a short period of time, because at that time, as soon as the war was over, they sent us all back, even though Saddam was still actually in power. Mm-hmm. I was one of the few that volunteered to stay. They sent a lot of soldiers back home just to turn around and send them back there again. So, but I was only there for about 4 months.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a... Your car alarm going up. Yeah, that was what, 1991?
Yep. Actually, I went down there on Valentine's Day.
Oh, you went?
They sent me sent me on Valentine's Day.
Really? That was the day you flew out?
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. So, yeah, 19 years ago? Just shy of 19 years ago then, huh? With 1991?
No, it's been long.
Oh, my God. My math is way off.
Right?
I'm thinking 2001. So, yeah, 31 years ago.
Yeah.
They're 39. God, I can't even do the math. 20 plus 29 years? 29 years?
Uh,
Wow. Pardon me, I'm enjoying a Diet Coke. So you said, okay, so you're only there for 4 months. What were you doing when you were deployed in Iraq?
when we weren't filling sandbags and pulling guard duty, we were, me and a small unit would be deployed to locate, disarm, and remove landmines,
Okay.
blow up ammo dumps, stuff like that.
Okay, what was your your job title in?
I was a 12 Bravo, which is a combat engineer.
Okay.
So we dealt with explosives, setting up and removing deterrents such as concertina wire and, well, we don't have any trees or anything out there, but just anything that would block a passage. So a lot of times what they would do, they'd block a road and make our convoys go around them, and that's where they'd put the landmines.
Sure, okay.
So we'd go out there and, we'd...
Sort of the precursor to IUDs.
Right. Well, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie...
IUDs.
Yeah, IEDs.
Yeah. IUDs is something different, isn't
Right.
it?
I don't know if you've ever seen the movie. What's it called? Can't think of it now. Anyhow, they show them all down there. Hurt Locker.
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. Anyhow, they show them down there disposing of, or finding landmines and stuff like that, but they're wearing the armadillo suits. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we didn't have those.
Yeah, yeah.
That was after my time. They got all the stuff down there. When I went down there, we were just out there in our BDUs and a stick.
Oh, wow.
Finding, yeah. So,
Wow. Did you have like those fancy shields and stuff at least? No, nothing?
Nothing.
Wow. So did you train? Like, when did you sign up for the military?
89.
89. So you had been training for this?
Yeah.
And yeah. And so you thought that maybe you'd never even be deployed doing this job, or?
No, at the time I didn't. I mean, I was hoping to be, which is weird because I said I joined the Army to serve my country.
Sure.
And so I was kind of actually in the back of my head was hoping I'd be deployed, but I didn't.
Yeah, talk right into it.
But I didn't know if
There you go.
I didn't know if the at the time I didn't know what situation was going on.
Yeah.
And so
Well, yeah, the Cold War was over.
right.
Yeah.
So when I got called to deploy, I was happy, but at the same time kind of scared because my wife was 4 months pregnant at the time.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, bad time to be deployed for sure.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. But, well, then, so you were home in time for the kid to be born even then?
Yeah.
Wow.
Actually, I got home and 13 days later he was born.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It was.
Damn. So, yeah, they didn't even have much, you didn't even have to stay to do this. They, you felt like the mines were pretty well cleared up and everything. There wasn't.
The area that we were for, we had it cleared all the way into Baghdad. Because they as we were stationed basically in a hole in the ground, and so when a convoy would be coming through that area, they would just call ahead and say, we need a engineer group to clear this area or whatever, and give us the coordinates. We'd head over there.
Okay. All right, so you come home, your kid's born, you stay in the Army.
Yeah, for 2.5 years I stayed in Fort Leonard Wood, and then my time came up to renew, and I said I would renew up if I could leave Fort Leonard Wood because I'd been there through basic training, ART, and then 2 more years, and I was like, I'm done. I want to see something else. Yeah. And they said nope. They said right now we don't have any place for you to go, so you're gonna have to stay here. And I said nope. Give me my walking papers. So I got out, and my wife was German, and so she wanted to move back to the States or back to Germany. So I did, and I moved back there and stayed there for 13 years.
What'd you do in Germany?
I worked several different jobs. In '96, came home, used my GI Bill, and went for auto body technician. And then I went back to Germany and did that. But I also was a mover. Hauling furniture and stuff like that. And, and then in let's see, had been 19. No, it was right around 2000. I joined the Brainerd Firebirds, and I started playing semi-pro football.
Okay.
Actually, my daughter got me into it because she was a cheerleader there first, and she asked me to come watch her. So I came in and watched her, and as I'm watching, I got more and more excited. My wife finally said, "Just go down and talk to the coach." So I went down there, and he's like, "Yeah, you know, come to practice and see how you do." So
Yeah.
I went to the practice, and he, you know, signed me right up.
Yeah. So when you moved to Germany, did you spoke at least some German, huh? That your wife was German?
Yeah, when I first went over there, they give you a German class, you know, teach the basics, how to count and, you know, left, right, you know, stuff like that, how to ask for directions and stuff, you know, pretty basic. And then, you know, living with my wife, you know, that helped to improve my German a little bit. You know, then once I got over there, my German really took off. And so, yeah, I can read it, write it, speak it.
Nice. To this day, fluently.
Probably not as fluent as I used to.
Yeah.
Let's see.
One of those things, if you don't use it, you lose it.
Right, kind
Yeah.
of. I still, funny thing is, I still speak it a lot to myself,
Sure.
just to kind of keep up on it. You know, but yeah, I do watch German movies on Netflix. Actually, has a couple German movies on, so I'll watch
Nice.
those. Yeah.
Jeez, you know, if man, I would like use it out in public just to mess with people, like talk to clerks and.
Well, actually, at work, I sometimes do. Mm-hmm. I'll come in and I'll, say good morning to everybody in German and ask how they're doing, and they're just shake their heads.
See, I speak a little bit of Spanish. I do that.
Oh,
yeah. Like, hey. I speak a fraction of German too, but yeah, Guten Tag, and
right.
people like, hi. For some reason, it annoys people sometimes when you use a foreign language.
Well, there's a fun joke. Actually, I heard it in Germany, and they said, what do you call somebody that speaks 3 languages? It's trilingual. Yeah, what do you call somebody that speaks 2 languages?
Bilingual.
What do you call somebody that speaks 1 language?
American.
Yep.
That's a pretty good joke.
Yeah.
For sure. So you started playing semi-pro football in Germany, and you were how old at this point?
30.
30 years old?
Yeah.
And what position did you play?
Middle linebacker and defensive end.
Okay. And how long did you play football there in Germany?
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
For sure. Yeah. So, what else, just tell me about Germany. Tell me about living there a little bit.
Germany was great. The people, the culture. Mm-hmm. I love the culture over there. The beer, of course, the food, and the different ethnic groups that are there. You know, how well they mesh together. Mm-hmm. You know, as far as restaurants and their different cultures and stuff. I mean, there's still some. I guess now is even worse than it was, but there is still some controversy between ethnic groups. But for the most part, I mean, you have everything from Africans and Polish and Russians and just all in one area. Mm-hmm. And you got to think this country is only the size of Texas.
Yeah.
And you can be riding on a city bus and hear 5 or 6 different languages, easily in just one ride.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was kind of fun. It was and I knew a couple English people over there, and it was funny. Even my coach was from North Carolina, and but we spoke German to each other.
Sure.
Just because it was, so kind of.
Well, it's part of the culture.
Yeah.
You're submerged in the culture.
Right.
Yeah.
And he worked for the airline over there. And I was at the time working at an auto body shop, and so it was just something that we were used to speaking all day long.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Pardon me. That Diet Coke's got me a little gassy. Well, yeah, man. Give me some details. Tell me about Germany.
Let's see. Germany is
You got some good stories.
well.
What happened while you were there?
For the most part, well, I was married, and then we ended up getting divorced. So I spent a lot of time partying. The clubs probably get kicking around midnight and go till like 6 in the morning. That's kind of a normal thing. You don't go out to the clubs at 9, 10 o'clock because it will just be dead. You don't go to the club until about midnight, 1 o'clock. They the let's see, the swim bads, which is the bathing or the public pools around there, are if the females want to go topless, they can. So that's kind of different than around here. So getting used to that was a little weird.
Yeah.
Going into a public pool with your kids and stuff, and women are just laying there with their tops off. You're kind of like, all right. Being American, it was kind of weird to get used to.
Yeah.
When I first met my wife, she took me to a FKK, which is a totally nude beach, and that is it's not regulated, like nobody's standing there at the door or anything. But when you go on there, there's a sign posted that it's just for nude beach.
Yeah.
And so she took me there. Me and a friend of mine and his girlfriend all went. And, of course, we were the two Americans and felt very uncomfortable.
Right.
And so we stripped down to everything but our underwear, which made us really stand out. So we stripped off our underwear and ran into the water until we kind of, relaxed and seen that it was no big deal. And then we kind of hung out on the beach. And, it was definitely interesting.
Yeah.
Because everybody was just walking around, and it didn't matter if they're, 15 or 80, they're just letting it all hang out, and you're like, wow, this is weird.
Yeah, definitely not something that we're used to here in America.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I got to experience that for a while. And that's, once I got over there and got more involved in the culture, I realized that it was not a big thing over there, Even commercials on TV show nudity, like shampoo commercials and stuff. Where here they show, the shoulders up, and there they show from the waist up.
Huh.
It's no big deal.
Yeah.
Even like a commercial for butter, they show these two people out next to a waterfall, and they're both naked. It was like, what's that got to do with butter? But whatever.
Sex sells.
Right?
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. And yet they at the same time they have these like crazy like laws on speech.
Oh, as far as
In Germany, well, they don't have like free speech laws like we do. Like, it's just odd to me that they're censoring speech.
Oh,
but yet the censors allow nudity on TV. That's crazy.
Speech is not the only thing they censor. Violence.
Yeah.
I watched one of my favorite movies from Jean-Claude Van Damme is Bloodsport. Mm-hmm. And, of course, over there, they're all in German and stuff. So when I seen that was coming on, I was like, great, I'm going to watch that. Well, as you know, Bloodsport is nothing but fighting. Mm-hmm. They cut out a lot of the fight scenes. So the film took like 45 minutes to watch. But,
it's like the beginning of the fight, the end of the fight,
winner. Pretty much. They just cut out a lot of
it's like watching boxing or watching Rocky, and all the boxing is cut out of it.
It was just, they took out a lot of the, more graphic scenes, and that's what they do with a lot of the movies over there. But if there's a nude scene in it, they leave that in. They don't. That's not.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and they'll play movies like that, middle of the day or whatever. So it doesn't matter who's watching them. So it's definitely a different mindset over there.
Yeah.
What's allowed and what's not.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, and what's socially acceptable.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I was just seeing this article today of this woman in Utah was, I think that like the courts held up. She was appealing. She had gotten like a ticket for like indecent exposure or lewd behavior or something like within her own home in Utah, and it sounded so insane, right? She look into it, and it was a stepmom who's like was walking around with her breasts exposed while she was doing like some housework or something, and her stepkids like
felt uncomfortable, and so it's held up in court that this woman's getting a fine for exposing her breasts in her own house, because, oh, God forbid, it's their stepchildren. But yet in Europe,
Right.
it's just like, oh, there's boobies on TVs in the daytime.
There was actually, which really blew my mind is I was watching Sesame Street. And in Germany.
Oh, don't tell me there's boobies on Sesame Street.
Now listen, they have a German Sesame Street and they have an American Sesame Street. Well, they take a lot of the American Sesame Street and dub it over, but then they have their own characters for and they put that in there too. Well, they also had a German cartoon, and it showed a family at the beach. And yeah, the mom was topless. it was a drawn cartoon, but she was topless.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, this is on Sesame
crazy,
Street.
yeah.
But that's because the kids don't know any better.
Yeah. It's the culture,
That's just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
And we definitely, there's an exceptional amount of prudeness sometimes when it comes to breasts in America. Like, people actually get upset about women breastfeeding in public, even if their breasts aren't exposed.
Yeah.
Like why? Like, that's so insanity to me. Like,
Well, when I came back from Germany in '96, I was living down in Hudson, Wisconsin, and I remember at that time there was this giant to-do over a billboard that was for some kind of suntan lotion. I'm not sure which one it was, but anyhow, and it showed two women standing next to a man, one on the left, one on the right, and they showed them from the shoulders up, and they're all brown tanned and stuff. Well, a little lower than the shoulders, but no breasts or anything. And then all the people were like, "Oh, it's showing group sex and all this," and they wanted the poster, they wanted it removed.
wow.
Because it showed two women and one guy standing there, and and all you saw was a little lower than their shoulders and up. It was commercial for suntan lotion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Some group got the Impossible Burger here.
Oh yeah. Yep.
They had a commercial running, and one of the customers was like, "Damn, that's not real beef," and some people complained about the word "damn."
Oh,
and Burger King agreed to edit the commercial. Yeah.
That's insane.
Oh man, oh man, just yeah. I mean, there is. Oh, we talk about the fringes sometimes. That there's these fringes on the outskirts of any sort of political argument or philosophical idea. There's these fringes that. There's just a fraction of them, but they always shout the loudest.
Oh yeah, well
there's
just everybody.
12 people complained about this commercial in the UK and got it pulled. I can't remember what it was, but it was 12 people. 12 people complained about a commercial and you pulled it. In a nation of millions of people.
Yep. Well, yeah, it's just this. Everybody's being. Offended.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of hearing that word.
Yeah.
That offends me. This offends me.
Yeah.
If it offends you, don't look at it.
Yeah. Sam Harris has this great quote. He said, "Being offended isn't a virtue and it isn't an argument."
Right.
Just be you. Then I like to say there's a very distinct difference between saying something offensive and somebody being offended by something said.
Right.
Yeah, you can take offense from any words if you really want to,
Right.
But what are you accomplishing by doing that anyways, like Sam says, it's not a virtue, it's not an argument, you're just placating to this ooh, how dare you say something that offends me? Well, how dare you be offended by something so not offensive?
Right. There's definitely things that are offensive, and then there's the things that are just so blown out of the water.
Yeah. But I even comedians being under attack, which is really I think this PC culture is really dying down. The cancel cultures, we've seen the absurdity of it, and I think it's fading away. But yeah, there was comedians, being trying to be canceled for jokes they have, and it's they're comedians. Their whole job is to find the absurdity.
Right.
they're gonna say something offensive to some people. Like
Right.
that's just the nature of their job. You know, like Doug Stanhope can be very offensive. He can also be very hilarious. And there's times when I've listened to Doug Stanhope where I'm like, ugh, and I just forward past this joke. Like, I just got to get past this joke. I just can't do it, you know? But I'm not going to, like, be outraged at Doug for saying something that offenses me. Like, he was trying to offend people.
Right.
Good job, you know? Like, you didn't just make me laugh. You actually, like, created a little yuck moment inside of me that I had to fast forward. Like, I know you wanted to do that to some people. Congratulations. It's just as effective as a laugh.
Right.
You know? But like I say, I'm not going to be outraged or try to cancel Doug Stanhope or stop listening to Doug Stanhope. He's funny. You know, South Park makes fun of everybody, you know, very successfully.
Right.
You
Well,
know?
and that's like, it was one of the comedians, it was one of the bigger names, it was Hart or somebody like that.
Oh, yeah, Kevin Hart.
Wasn't it Kevin Hart that wasn't allowed to?
They gave him, they wanted him to host the Grammys.
Right, and he couldn't because of,
And then there was a 12-year-old tweet and joke that he had.
Exactly.
About hitting his kid with if he saw his kid playing with dolls, he would break a dollhouse over his head.
Yeah.
Like, so ridiculous. Like, first of all, he would have to have bought the dolls in the dollhouse for his son. So, you know, I mean, it's just absurd. And let alone now, he even said, "Boy, I don't feel that way anymore. I would have never made that joke. It's classless, yada yada." So he's moved beyond feeling that way. If he ever actually felt that way, he wouldn't even make the joke today. You know, and yet there was a group of people that felt that he shouldn't.
Right.
Yeah, even though, well, what do you want? If he says he wouldn't do that anymore and he feels like it was wrong, like, what more do you want? But then he just refused to do it. There was this great interview where he just kept saying, I'm over it. Like every time they asked him a question, he'd just be like saying, I'm saying I'm over it. I'm over it. Like, so yeah, he refused to host.
The funny thing about all that is that they're like, okay, well, because he said this, he's not going to be able to do the Grammys, so now we're going to get Eddie Murphy.
I think it was the Oscars. Did I say
it was.
It was the Oscars.
Yeah.
And the Oscars didn't have any host.
Yeah, but then it was funny. Then they're like, "We can get Eddie Murphy." I'm like, "Did you?"
Oh
watch
my
Raw
God! I know. Yeah,
Delirious?
who has said? Oh my
I
God!
was like, "You're gonna say he said nothing offensive?" Come
Oh
on.
my God! Eddie Murphy, 20-year-old Eddie Murphy. Oh
exactly.
my God! He said some of the worst things.
Right, and they're like, I was like, "You guys." I mean, Raw and Delirious were my favorites. I grew up to those.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my God! Like, he's got that whole bit about his brother Charlie,
Yep.
who we all know now. Who, hey, rest in peace, Charlie Murphy. But yeah, he had a great bit about his wife married Sasquatch, and his kids are like savages. He took his kids fishing.
Goonie Goo Goo?
Yeah, Goonie Goo Goo. Yeah, he
Yep.
puts his head in the water, pulls up a fish. He says Goonie Goo Goo.
Right.
You married Bigfoot, Chuck. You know, like, oh my God. And you know, how could he possibly make? You know, I mean, yeah. Nobody could do that joke today. Like, it would just be crickets in the room.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And I mean, he's making fun of his brother's wife, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think race has anything to do with it. And I'm sure that that's all where it would be today.
Yeah.
You know? They would be all over that. I'm surprised nobody has clipped that and tried to cancel Eddie Murphy for his Goonie Goo Goo
He's
joke.
like, well, I make fun of homosexuals because they're homosexuals.
Yeah.
It's like, you do that now?
Yeah.
They'll have you, crucified.
Yeah, Joe Rogan had on one of his last podcasts that I was listening to. He was saying, like, we're comedians, we make fun of everybody.
Yeah.
You know, he's like,
Right.
like, that's just part of our job. He's like, I'll make fun of somebody and then like go in the green room and there they are. Like, hey, buddy, how's it going?
Right?
Yeah, that's their job, is to find the humor in things. So yeah, I mean, I think once cancel culture went after comedians, which, unfortunately there's a couple people that really seem to have gotten caught up and can't get back from it.
Right.
Louis C.K., he was a brilliant comedian who had probably one of the best comedy shows of all time.
I like watching his.
Yeah, he was. Oh, that show was so good. And yep.
I just watched one with him.
Has not been able to recover. Can't get jobs.
I just watched one with him. He was in a grocery store with his daughter, and he was teaching his daughter to say "excuse me," because the one daughter hit the other daughter. Say you're sorry, and at first she went, and then finally she said her sorry. Well, then a woman walks by and bumps his daughter. And she's like, well, Daddy, why doesn't she have to say sorry? So it turned into a big thing, and he was like, I'll just say sorry to my daughter. And so she wouldn't, and then eventually the police came and arrested the woman for assault on the daughter.
Oh, my God.
It was so funny.
I have not seen that episode. That sounds hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, that show was so brilliant. He took that Larry David formula of, like, uncomfortable and ridiculous conversations, and he brought it to this whole other amazing place. That show was so good. I miss that show for sure. But anyways, anything else you want to talk about in particular?
Other than, right now
talk about your Central Lake Serpents.
Yep, my Central Lake Serpents is a semi-pro football team here in Brainerd, and I'm hoping that we can get, we got about 20 players that have said they would like to play, but I'm only getting about 8 to 10 players at practice, so it's kind of hard to work on plays that way.
Yeah, for sure.
But we had practice last night. It went pretty good. We worked through the plays that we have, and they looked good. The guys caught on really quick. It's pretty much a no huddle offense if we want to run it that way, or we can slow it down. Mm-hmm. So either way, they work really well. It goes from a triple back to a single back, back and forth offense. So it would really confuse a defensive line or a defensive opposing team. If you did that, went from a triple back and then all of a sudden went to a single back and you had 2 extra receivers, so it's definitely a neat offense that's been set up. So we're hoping to run with that, but we got to see if we get more players.
Sure.
I'm giving to the end of March to figure out if we're going to actually have a team or not.
Okay. Well, shout out some information to people how they can get a hold of you if they're interested.
Yeah, well, I'm online. Facebook, you can go on Facebook and just put it in Central Lake Serpents. I'm my telephone number, if I can give that out, is.
Well, I'll post it in the description probably.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah.
You can hit me up there.
You got an email?
I do. Actually, it's Central Lake Serpents, all one word, at Gmail.
All right.
And they can shoot me a message on there. It's 18 and older. It's $150 player fee, and that's covers their uniform. Mm-hmm. And they're responsible for their own helmet, pads, cleats.
Okay.
But we pay for a pair of pants and 2 jerseys, home and away. Mm-hmm. So, we're just hoping that we get a good amount of players, for this upcoming season.
Sure. What are you looking for mostly? You need defensive players or
linemen?
Linemen
is what we're really looking for. Okay. But I mean, I'll take anybody. But because even last year we had guys that would normally play linebackers, we had them working as linemen. Yeah. But if I can get a bigger lineman,
Yeah. Yeah, so big immovable objects.
Right?
Yeah.
Because last year...
Get a hold of Mike.
Oh, yeah. See, I even had to play... My last year I played, I was 48.
Oy.
Yeah. So I played 2 years in America. So 7 years altogether I played.
All right.
But my wife says, you're getting too old.
Yeah.
I'll be 50 in 2 months, so...
Yeah, I'm almost 40, and I'm too old. And I got a bad knee and a bad ankle. You could not get me out there for nothing.
Right?
But I'll post the links in the description below here. And anything else you want to chat about at all?
No, I think that covers pretty much me.
All right, yeah.
Well, I appreciate having me on here.
Yeah, no problem. We'll have to have you back on. Come up with some if you got some good stories about Germany that you can pontificate and write some notes, I'm sure there's. Oh, they don't have to be child appropriate or anything.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, I saw that look on your face. No, this isn't like a family podcast or anything.
I was like, I do have some.
Yeah, no, there's an explicit button that I can click on YouTube so that children can't specifically see the podcast.
Okay.
Which I haven't had to do yet. We've dropped some F-bombs and stuff, but there hasn't been anything too extremely inappropriate. But yeah, if you want to do a yeah, if you got some raunchy stories, we can certainly.
Well, just this real quick because we were talking about it when I was at that strand that totally nude beach.
Yeah.
I was laying on my stomach, and my girlfriend at the time, and later wife, straddled my back and was giving me a massage. Mm-hmm. And if any man knows what happens when a naked woman lays on her back and rubs you, you know what happens. And then she sees the ice cream truck pulls up. She goes, "Oh, there's ice cream." She goes, "Come on, let's go get some ice cream." I was like, "No, I'm just gonna
I'm gonna lay here for a little while."
So I just no. She goes, "Come on." She goes, "Just grab me something." She goes, "What do you want?" I said, "Whatever." And she goes, "Well, come and look." I'm like, "No,
no. I'm gonna stay right here for a few minutes.
Right.
Thank you. Oh,
she had
man,
no
that's funny.
clue. I was like,
Oh, that's hilarious.
yeah. So I had to lay there for a little while to
Yep.
relax.
All right. Well, with that, we will end this episode.
All right.
Thank you for joining
you.
us for the Electric Church Podcast, Mike. Thanks for coming in. We'll have you back. And thanks to all our listeners. Please, you can find us on Facebook, like, and share this video.